we go, boys. We're going to be ranking all of the games on Twitch. Which ones are the best to stream? Which ones are the worst to stream? This is going to be the ultimate list, the ultimate tier list, so that people that are looking to grow on Twitch can do so with the best possible knowledge. We're going to look into the numbers. We're going to look into our opinions, and we're going to look into our 10 years of experience as gaming content creators and as Twitch partners to rank every single one of these games. Which ones are garbage tier? Which ones are awesome tier?
My name is AWOL. Let's just get straight into the list. Looks like we've already placed a bunch of the games in some spots just to kind of speed things up, right, Perrin?
Yeah, so we're covering a ton of games here, and we're not gonna be able to do it in 30 minutes really quickly. So I tossed a bunch on the list. I'm just gonna take a minute to go through those really quick. We've talked about just chatting a ton on the podcast. We have S tier for that reason. For those of you who are listeners or watchers regularly, you know why. Grand Theft Auto is A tier because it's always been in the top of Twitch, but it's hard to get into the no pixel server, and that is the only way, or one of the only ways, you're going to be able to make it big on Grand Theft Auto. And then we have FIFA, Dota 2, Escape from Tarkov, and podcasts and C tier, and Phasmophobia, Teamfight Tactics, and Cyberpunk on D tier. Mostly on D tier. Those things are on the out and out, and that's why they're D tier. So any arguments there before we move on to the next titles, guys?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing we need to say is that just as we covered in the episode yesterday, Just Chatting is the #1 game on Twitch right now. It's probably going to continue to be the #1 game indefinitely as long as people are lonely, and they're going to continue to be lonely, so just keep that in mind. Let's go through the rest of the games, but Just Chatting is the king of Twitch. Remember that the meta has shifted. That's just the way it is. Let's freaking go. Next game.
World of Warcraft. Guys, recently a new expansion has been giving some hype to this. The game, I think it was just yesterday, the Burning Crusade is back now on the classic server, so people are streaming that. Where do you think this lies on this list?
And World of Warcraft has been a game on Twitch that has been here for a long time. A lot of the early Twitch streamers cover World of Warcraft. You're looking at guys like Towley, and obviously there's been others that have come up through the ranks over time, just covering this game and having solid viewership over time with World of Warcraft. And so it's kind of like this solid middle of the road trend that doesn't really seem to go anywhere. And when we look at the numbers, it seems to be supporting that. In fact, it looks like it's been getting a little bit of growth here in terms of viewership recently. Obviously, once every single patch and expansion drops, there's a spike when it drops, and then a slow decline thereafter. But it looks like recently here in 2020, 2021, with this recent drop, the game has reached a level of popularity that's similar to previous expansions. It's like this game will never die. It's pretty interesting.
It has like these waves, but otherwise it's a pretty flat trend. So you could cover it and hope for these spikes for an increase in viewership, but otherwise I think it's a pretty competitive field. Like, you've got to be doing something interesting, you've got to be in an interesting guild, you've got to be very good at PvP, all these things. It's just going to be difficult to come in as a new person into the space. It's already really been solidified year after year after year, so I definitely don't think it's A or S tier, but because it's been high up on Twitch and it's been around for so long, I do think it at least sits into the B or C tier. Ross, what do you think?
I would put it, and we kind of talked about this earlier, I would put it in the C tier with potential for B. The once-a-year spikes just don't do it for me, but other than that, it is steady, and we have to recognize that. And yeah, I'll go C tier on this. AWOL?
I'm going to agree with C tier.
C tier it is. We got
right.
C tier. Next game.
Dark Souls 3, a Twitch classic. Dark Souls has done fantastic on Twitch. And
one of the reasons why it's been such a popular game as well. I just tossed it into B tier here. Hey, well, I want to get your thoughts while I look up the trend here on Twitch Tracker.
Makes sense. So my thoughts on Dark Souls is that this is a game that's got a lot of replayability. People like, especially watching people who have never played it before die at it. Obviously, speedrunning is a major trend here, and the whole catalog of Dark Souls games has an extremely hardcore community that's behind it. So I would say that Dark Souls is probably a D tier game, in my opinion, just because it's just a game that doesn't have a lot of new content. There's not a lot of meat on the bone for you to cover with this one. I would say it's a better game for YouTube than Twitch, Everybody's seen the gameplay a lot. And so if you're going to build an audience from this, you need to acquire audience where there's an algorithm where you can get people that are interested and then drive them over to Twitch. That's my opinion on that. I don't think it's a C or B tier game. There's not much growth to be had here, which is why I would rank it lower.
There are some new things happening with the game, and this is why you see a little bit of spike here at the beginning of this year that it go up. There's a mod called the Cinders mod, and it just totally changes around the game dynamics. It changes how some of the bosses work. It actually adds new bosses into the game as well. It does inject some newness into the game. That being said, it's so few and far between. I still would hesitate to bring it up to C tier. It's such an old game now. I think we're all looking for the next installment in the Souls, well, no longer the Souls genre, but the
same game type there, like Neo 2 coming out, etc. Yeah, I would say it's D tier. Ross, do you? Yeah,
I agree.
Okay, let's move on to Among Us. I know Among Us is controversial here. It was a big fad for a little while. Every big streamer was on top of this thing. They were streaming Among Us every day. We loved to watch it, and then it died.
Yeah, poor Among Us. I mean, something obviously happened here. With something like Among Us, the reason why people were covering it is because they were growing off of it. And that collaboration meta on Twitch is the reason why people were covering it there. You were seeing big creators all covering it. It went to the top of Twitch, which got all of the dead zombie bodies, zero viewer Andes to cover the game as well. But then once the top streamers saw that they weren't growing with it anymore, well, this is what happened. I'm showing the screen.
Yeah, and I don't think that the new content coming out next week is going to do very much for it. I think it comes out on the 31st. It looks like it's kind of like a dead trend. So I would put it as a D tier. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, D tier.
Yeah,
sure.
I think we're going to have a lot of D tier games on this list. It's going to have a mini pop when this new content comes out. I think the big creators are going to go back and cover it for like one day. So it's going to pop for a day.
It'll be fun. Yeah,
I don't know, but for something to be in C tier, it has to have some meat on the bone, if you will, to cover and to grow off of. And I feel like this game just doesn't anymore in a streaming capacity. Maybe you could do some sort of twist or interesting challenge on YouTube, but on Twitch, I just don't see it. So let's move on. I think this D tier lane, we might need to double down on that and make it even bigger. There's gonna be a lot of D tier games here today, boys.
That's okay.
Speaking of D tier, Fortnite, is that D tier?
Just throwing it in there.
I'm just gonna toss it in there because I initially do. I think so, and for one reason and one reason only. It is so oversaturated with people wanting to stream Fortnite that even if Fortnite were growing, even if there's more people watching, it doesn't matter because there's so many people streaming it, you won't get noticed.
Well, let's take a look at the numbers because I don't want to just say that because I think there's a lot of people out there that'd be disappointed by that. They see that 128,000 people here, 128,000 people are watching it right now. 6,000 channels are live. For you to say that's D tier, is kind of hard for them to understand. So can you break down these numbers and show like the saturation issue that we're talking about and how that's important when you're scouting games on Twitch?
Yeah, so you want to look at average viewers per channel, and 14.1 is actually pretty good. However, there are a ton of Fortnite streamers who have a ton of concurrent viewers, and all of the cream is rising to the top. Average channels over 7 days, 10,397 average channels. This is a lot of channels. But again, look at peak channels at the beginning, at the end of last year,
132,000 for the year. There are a ton of people streaming this. It's extremely oversaturated. Everybody wants in on the Fortnite train. Every teenager, every young person, even old people, like we want to get in because they see people blowing up on Fortnite. It's been too late for that for a long time, unless you're doing something incredibly unique, or you come from YouTube and you're building something from there first and bringing it over. Getting noticed, and we've done this on stream before. We've literally shown it takes more than 50 minutes to scroll to the bottom. Actually, I've never been able to scroll to the bottom of the Fortnite streams. So if you're streaming to Fortnite with 0 to 1 to 2 concurrent viewers, the chances of you getting noticed are less than 1/10 of a percentile. Okay?
So that makes this, in terms of we're ranking these games to stream, in terms of games to stream, Fortnite is one of the worst because you have mathematically the least percentage chance of getting noticed out of any other game on this list. And that is why I'm ranking it low. Not because it's growing. It actually is kind of growing in terms of viewership here at the end, especially right now. But that doesn't matter because you still have such an infinitesimal chance of getting noticed in the game.
I agree. It's a D tier game.
No,
Ross, D-tier game?
no argument for me. Yeah, it's just completely oversaturated. And I was gonna actually bring up that point of what you did, Perrin, on that day, just scrolling through. That was unreal. That was just completely unbelievable. Yeah, that's D tier.
D tier. Okay. Let's move on.
Valorant. I just tossed it into B tier, but I'm gonna search it up here. I think Valorant has some promise. I've actually had my viewers ask me, "Hey, Ashley, you gonna play Valorant?" I'm like, "Wait, what? Do I strike you as a Valorant player? I don't normally do FPS. It's a weird chart. Valorant has been kind of all over the place. It seems like a Counter-Strike Go replacement. It seems like a little bit even better than that. Lots of the larger streamers play it, at least now and then. Shroud is huge on Valorant. He plays Valorant all the time. Is this trend growing, and is it something you guys could see new streamers or lower to mid-tier creators making, getting some growth off of?
Yeah, I
definitely see new to mid-tier streamers growing off of this, but they'll need to have a YouTube plus a Twitch strategy, of course. But if you're streaming it on Twitch, that's when you can be practicing. You can be maybe even doing like aim practice sessions, not even in Valorant, and doing that, talking about how you're practicing your aim and doing videos on YouTube related to that. And then you can play the game and do competitive and get gameplay footage on Twitch and record during those sessions when you're on Twitch. And every time you stream something like Valorant, you try to get some sort of tips and tricks video out of it while you're streaming on Twitch to upload to YouTube. And then on YouTube, you tell people, come watch me on Twitch if you want more of this and you want to learn how to become better in Valorant. That's what I think is the best strategy here to grow with Valorant. I think it's a B tier game. It's going to continue to grow, and the esports potential is definitely major.
Yeah, it's the esports that does it for me. That's a B tier for me too.
Cool. I agree with B tier. Let's do Valheim. Valheim was a recent smash hit. Indie game taking storm this year because no AAA developers are going to make a game this year. So Valheim jumped in here into kind of like scratching that Minecraft itch, that builder itch. And I want to see, it sold like 4 million copies, or maybe even more, maybe 5 million now. And has it continued? How has that trend continued? I played it for like 2 weeks or so. It looks like it's cratering down pretty far. So I don't think it's going to come back up to this peak that we saw right around the beginning. But I do know that there's some creators really carving out a niche on this, but I think it's really more happening on YouTube than it is on Twitch. Well, I know you've had a client of yours specifically dealing with Valheim. What's been their experience?
Yeah, their experience so far has been that they were covering Minecraft. It's a channel. Their name is Kaizen. They were covering Minecraft, other survival games, right? They're staying in the survival game bubble on YouTube. Then they switched to Valheim and they did educational content for Valheim, and it was really successful for them on YouTube. But that doesn't mean that there is an amazing Twitch growth opportunity when I studied this with them. And so as I keep saying over and over again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, you need to be thinking the YouTube to Twitch strategy. Is that viable for this game? If so, then I could stream it. I don't think you can just straight up stream Valheim on Twitch and grow by any sort of significant margin right now. It's a C tier game in my opinion on Twitch. There's a minor growth opportunity in terms of streaming it, but it's not that great. But on YouTube, there is an opportunity because there's so much to teach people about the game, and there's so much depth in the game to cover from an educational capacity, but it's hard to show people that depth on Twitch because there's no searchability and there's no algorithm to find answers to your questions about the game on Twitch. So it doesn't have that opportunity there. Cool. C tier is my opinion.
Yep. C tier with me as well. Okay, let's change it up and let's do a non-game game.
Ooh, yes.
Video game, chess. I'm actually gonna toss chess into A and just see, and we'll look it up as well. Chess is very interesting. Chess, I mean, clearly it's a game that's been around forever, but it blows up on Twitch and not in a lot of different ways. You get a lot of popular streamers who do just chatting will like kind of dive into chess and do chess a little bit. And viewers per channel on this one guys, is 163. Remember looking at Fortnite, it was 14.1 or whatever. Viewers per channel on chess is 163. Only 92 live channels, but 17,000, almost 18,000 live viewers as of right now. And look at the chart.
Look at this trend right here. Ross, look at your
face. Look at my face. Look at it. Look at it. Yeah, chess is definitely trending up. And I'll go out there. This is going to be probably an unpopular opinion. I think chess is more intense than a lot of the other games out there. So on top of that, and seeing this trend upwards, I really want to say A tier. You know what? I'm going to say it. I'm going to say A tier for chess.
A tier?
I'm going to say A tier. I'll go out there.
I actually think chess might be S tier.
Oh!
I would also say S tier. This is an S tier game. I mean, how often do you see a game continuing to trend up after a year of, like, this is after a year it continues to trend up. This almost never happens on Twitch. And this is an extremely difficult trend to get into, obviously, because of the complexity of the game and the depth of the game. But you want to talk about an ever trend? I mean, chess has been around for hundreds of years. All these other games are just clown shoes in comparison to the longevity of chess as a trend. Chess is hot today. Chess is going to be hot in 100 years. You could be a chess gaming creator till you die. So this is S tier, man. This is S tier, baby. I didn't think we'd get here, but this is clearly S tier.
King Henry, very unsaturated. It's got a great growth curve. Well, Ross, what were you gonna say here?
Look at the growth curve on that. That beautiful big natural growth curve. Girl. Go ahead, Ross.
Oh, I was just gonna say King Henry was streaming this back in the 1600s. So.
Okay, I think we agree that it's chess. I don't think you're gonna see a trend. I don't think you're gonna see a trend like that, chat, on this list. So. Next one up, Rocket League. I haven't even heard of Rocket League in a while.
Wow.
Toss it down into C. We'll see here. I used to watch some Rocket League esports. I don't really anymore. Are esports something that could keep it alive and have some growth potential? Is it so old and archaic now? I think it's actually free to play now as well, so it's easier to access. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, Rocket League is one of those kind of ever trendy games that just continues to have interest. You see the little spikes there in interest. This is when just random streamers over time will just pick up this game. Random content drops on this game will happen. And it just, Rocket League is super fun. And it's one of those games that it's sort of like, as streamers go back to it and be like, hey, let's pick up Rocket League and just see what's up. And you'll have major streamers picking this one up, streaming it, generating interest in it again. The esports scene is doing pretty well. But overall, it's a relatively small trend, if you will. It's not a big trend. And so I'd say that Rocket League is maybe B or C tier as a trend. And as we see from the numbers here in terms of streaming, somehow it increased in popularity after 4 years. So this makes it super interesting. I might even want to put it up in a B tier because of the recent sustained growth. What are your thoughts on that, guys?
B tier, how do I feel? Yeah, I feel like it's at least B tier when we look at this growth curve.
It is relatively unsaturated. 26.7 average viewers per channel in the last 7 days is pretty good. Ranked number 14 currently on Twitch, which is actually pretty good. So although it is smaller, I do think it has this nice like middle sweet spot. And if you look at it since 2017, I mean, it's kind of a slow up. It's kind of a slow upward tick, but it is going up even before we get this spike here in 2021. So, I mean,
it's got growth and it's relatively unsaturated. I think it's like a sleeper hit. I don't think many people are going to think of Rocket League to grow. I think that also helps you in this one. So I think B tier is a nice fit.
I agree. And before this trend, I think C tier would have probably been our pick here, but it's just such an easy game to play. The content is so digestible. Rocket League for Twitch is what FIFA wishes it was with that competitive atmosphere. Ooh, but I wasn't even trying to make a hot take there, but I'll take it. Yeah, this is B tier. This is B tier. This is a good evergreen trend. It's just how high can that trend get?
Makes sense. Can we take a question here from chat? We've got I understand you guys think I'm going a little overboard with the voice board. I'll calm down on it, okay? But we've got a question here from Playtags on YouTube. Can you take that question? It's regarding Restream.
Hold on, I'm pulling it up. Here we go. Okay, quick question on Restream. As I know they sponsor your video, they do. Go to restream.io. If I hit partner level or a level that I earn money from any platform, does using Restream go against the terms and services as I need to be exclusive?
Yeah, so I'm happy to talk about that. So on Twitch, likely it does. It depends on your agreement. So first of all, I'm not your lawyer. So I'm not going to advise you on your agreement because I don't know what agreement you signed. Twitch does sign non-exclusive agreements with creators, so keep that in mind. But with Twitch, generally speaking, if you're a Twitch affiliate or Twitch partner, it's probably against the terms of service for you to restream. To my knowledge, Facebook does not care. YouTube does not care. Trovo does not care. Twitter does not care. DLive does not care. Twitch is the only one that, with generally speaking, with their contracts, has an exclusivity clause in there to keep you exclusive on their platform, which is yet again another way that they have an unfriendly business practice with their creators. So you can be free to restream on everything else, to my knowledge, generally speaking. But take a look at your own agreement and consult with your own lawyer on that. I wanted to address that. And while we're on that subject, there's a company that sponsors us, right? That gives us money to talk about them, right, Ross?
Yes, they are, and it's Restream.io, who we just talked about. Stop focusing on one platform and start going on all of them, streaming with a click of a button. Right now, we are on Facebook, YouTube, we're even on Twitter, we're on Twitch, DLive, Trovo. We're streaming everywhere because the exclusivity, as we've talked about in previous episodes, how much benefit does that actually have for you? And if you really look into it, it doesn't, especially when these platforms can kick you off with the snap of a finger or completely just die off, as we saw with Mixer. Use the link in the comments right now. Go to restream.io and get 30% off your first month and start streaming with Restream. Perrin, what is next on our list here?
Outriders, and this is definitely solid D tier, guys. This trend died really quick. This trend died 5 days. It took 5 days for this trend to completely die.
Hey, well, you like this game, though.
Yeah, so I would say that this is not a D tier game.
Yeah, it is.
Because the game isn't out yet. So the reason why that timeline looks like that, if you want to go back to the stats, this was a demo, which essentially has like 5 missions on it, and everybody played all 5 missions. But the actual full game is a full-blown looter shooter with an end game and everything. And so I think that this game is not D tier, it's probably C tier-ish, similar to probably where I'll want to put like Destiny 2 in games like that. C, it's like D tier right now. If we take a look at numbers, and the numbers show us that Outriders has some sustained interest over time, maybe we can upgrade it to a C or B tier. But as it stands right now, given that they are not doing a live service model with the game, we don't know what the ongoing support and updates for Outriders will be yet. So I don't feel comfortable making it C or B. But it's definitely not D tier. It's C tier because it's about to launch. And so there's an opportunity for people to get in on that launch hype and maybe become one of the streamers for it longer term. You know what I mean? So like there's like some opportunity to grow, if you know what I mean, but not a guaranteed opportunity to grow. And the numbers don't support that. So I think it's C tier for that reason. There's not zero opportunity to grow, which is kind of what we're kind of categorizing D tier as, right?
Yeah. We'll see next week. April 1st it releases, correct?
Yes, April 1st it releases, and the question here from X1 in YouTube chat is Outriders any good? The demo is good. The response from gamers is great. The communications from the developer and publisher are amazing. However, we've seen that before, and it didn't turn out very well. So let's see how it actually goes. Like, let's see what they actually deliver on when it comes to endgame and what the gameplay is actually like. Then we can be a judge of whether this game has longevity. I've stopped speculating about how successful a game will be without seeing some sort of evidence in terms of marketing spend, and their marketing spend right now for the game is quite small. Back to you, Perrin.
All right, I lumped Destiny 2 in there because we're going to have to get through this list pretty quickly now. We need to go at a rapid pace. Apex Legends. Apex Legends, I'm going to toss here in B tier for now. That's just where my gut is telling me. That's it. That's all I'm basing that off of. And we're going to look at the stats here as well. I know this one has been around nearing the top of Twitch for quite a while. And it does look like there's like a pretty nice uptick on the growth curve here. It's about 14.1 average viewers per channel in the last 7 days. And
Yeah, it's not that
78,000
great.
viewers. It's not super great. It's pretty saturated too, but
Yeah.
it is growing a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead, Ross.
No, I think we're going to say the same thing. It's growing a little bit. They do a good job of adding new content, and I can't believe I'm about to say this, but EA's actually done a really good job with this game. But I would tend to agree. I don't know. I would probably put this at a C tier now. It could go up to B tier. It's gonna take a good push though.
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's a C tier game. There's some growth opportunity, but not a great growth opportunity. I think we're locked in there. Next game.
Okay. I'm going to toss 2 games down here at once, Free Fire and Wild Rift.
Savagery.
I'm putting them
Down here in the D tier. Now, Free Fire just hit some records yesterday.
but on Twitch, nobody cares. And on Twitch for Wild Rift, I'm going to look at Wild Rift actually here just in case. But, you know, mobile games viewership is not doing great on Twitch. It is primarily PC gamers and gamers who want to watch PC gaming type of content. You can see Wild Rift's trend here is pretty small. It's about ready to release here in North America at the end of the month. 25.1 average viewers per channel though, which is pretty nice, but there's just only like 1,679 live viewers. There's no viewership here.
Where's the marketing money? Where is the marketing money?
You've got to spend marketing money to make your game popular, Riot. That's how you got League of Legends to be big. Where is the marketing money for this game? It is a mobile game. Put money into it. Here's the success strategy. $10 million. Facebook advertising. Money goes into your bank account that's more than $10 million. You're welcome. I'll send you an invoice. Back
To you.
Okay, so I'm actually gonna, and Dangerous Voice here in chat saying Free Fire I've seen growing on Twitch. I'm looking at that now. It actually looks really strong. It's a very young point, but it actually looks very, very strong. Look at the upward curve here, guys, on this one. At 27.8 average viewers per channel in the last 7 days. Only 2,500 live viewers, but that's a high average viewers per channel ratio. So it's not enough, I think, right now. It's so small to bring it up to like B or A tier, but it could be early enough. Maybe this will blow up on Twitch. It's blowing up everywhere else on the internet. So it would make a reasonable choice to get in early now on this trend on Twitch, because it might go B tier, A tier eventually. But right now, I would say this early on, you could grow here. It's question mark on what the potential is going to be in the future though. I'm not really sure.
Hey, this is B tier in my opinion. With that upward curve, you want to ride those upward trends. Look, if a trend's going up, that's where you want to be. I didn't notice. Yeah. I didn't notice the channels is going up, but the viewership isn't. Ooh, the blue line is channels, but the green line is viewership. Yeah, I'm gonna downgrade that to a C actually. So this is a case of supply and demand, right? So when you see the blue line go up here, guys, that's supply going up, but the green line is not going up along with it. That's demand, which means the competition's increasing, but the viewership is not increasing. That is bad, bad, bad. So yeah, this is a C tier game. There's some growth opportunity here, especially guys, since it's such a mega title on other platforms, right? Such as YouTube especially, but and Facebook gaming. So in a restreaming capacity and in a YouTube content creation capacity, there's something here to be had, right? So it's not D tier. I don't think we can make it higher than C tier.
It's a definite C tier. Okay, let's move on. Call of Duty Warzone. This thing has been on Twitch forever. I threw it in the A tier. I actually don't agree with that one initially out the gate. I think it falls into a Fortnite problem where it's super saturated, but we can actually look at the supply demand like you were saying before, AWOL. 23.4 average viewers per channel in the last 7 days, which was better than Fortnite by a good margin. If you look, suddenly the supply dropped of channels dropped quite significantly here.
That's good. That's really good. So that yeah, a lot of people view like a drop in supply. The blue line you guys see here. Can you zoom in on that so people can see what we mean by the drop in supply? You see how the blue line goes down here, team, viewers? That's where the number of channels dropped off. that are streaming the game. That's fantastic. So a lot of people view, like, they say things like, the community isn't supporting the game, the community. Dude, when less people stream a game, that's great for you to stream the game. So now it looks like the number of channels is now matching the viewership. So the supply to demand ratio is now in line with where it should be. So I think that that actually drastically improved the score of this game, and it's kind of normalized. So I would say that this is a C tier game, not a D tier game, because there is some opportunity to grow here by doing challenges, by latching onto the Call of Duty franchise, and by, I can't put an ever trend like Call of Duty in D tier, because the next Call of Duty game is going to come out, the next Call of Duty game is going to come out, etc., and you have the chance to branch out into the other versions of Call of Duty, right? Mobile and any other iterations that come out in the future. There's some opportunity to grow, but it's not great. Thoughts on that, guys?
I'm going to agree with that 100%.
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay.
We all agree with each other, and we're all very handsome. Moving on.
That is true.
Counter-Strike, CSGO. I'm just going to toss it into the Valorant tier because it's generally very, very similar. It's just older. So I'm going to, and then I'll look at the trend here. Counter-Strike has been around for a really long time. And it's got competitiveness to it. It's got esports to it. But the supply far exceeds the demand for this content. I think a lot of the demand just comes to eat up and watch esports. I know I'll probably never play CSGO ever again. I played it like years and years ago. But I do still like to watch the esports sometimes. That's probably all I'll ever do. I know there's a lot of gamers in my boat. There is, however, a pretty high average viewers per channel at 49.7.
That's really good.
It's actually really, really good average viewers per channel. But you can see there's a really, really big margin here between the supply of channels and the demand of viewership. So you would have a hard time competing to get those average viewers per channel with that huge gap there.
Yeah, that makes sense. I would say that this is probably maybe a B tier game right now, given that the average views per channel is relatively high for this title, and it's an ever trend that'll be here forever. Like, Counter-Strike won't go away. I was playing Counter-Strike when I was in college in the early 2000s. I'm talking 2002. So this is, I mean, this game has like a 20-year timeline, and look how strong it is. With COVID, you see how the viewership has become more consistent since 2020 because of COVID, in comparison to the spikier nature of it previously. That's good, man. The trend strengthened here recently. So for that reason, I like this as a B tier game, but you need to be high skill, and you need to be able to teach people things about the game as well, and really add value on top, because the esports players are going to have a lot of the viewership. People are going to want to watch high skill players in this one. So what's your unique value? Are you playing a character? Are you teaching people things? Are you doing challenges? What are you doing that's truly interesting and different with this one? You really need to figure that out, because you probably aren't going to be better than the other streamers, because it's freaking Counter-Strike. The highest skill FPS players in the entire world played this one.
Yeah,
Yep.
no argument there. It's withheld the test of time. So I like it there.
Heroes of the Storm!
Heroes of the Storm is D tier, maybe F tier. So obviously Blizzard, so with our experience, if you guys are not already familiar, we at TGN, we created the #1 Heroes of the Storm live stream and YouTube channel and community of all time. And we worked directly with Blizzard Entertainment and did a deal with them to make their official esports content for Blizzard Esports in our past with another company, with TGN and Broadband TV. Heroes of the Storm has since essentially been kind of, let's say, discontinued, in quotation marks, in terms of ongoing support. So it's one of these trends that I think they'll keep the servers online. They'll just kind of trickle in support, if you will, in quotation marks, for the game over time. And it's just going to kind of slowly die. And they'll take the servers offline in a couple years, something like that. So they aren't actively developing big content for the game, to my knowledge, and it's just on life support. So this is definitely a D tier game. People go back and stream it. There's still a community here for this game that loves this game, because it is a good game, but it failed to get the market traction it needed because it was competing against Dota 2 and League of Legends, which were already had a massive foothold in the market, and they were unable to innovate in some Blizzard way to break through. It's D tier. There's no growth opportunity here, in my opinion.
Okay, speaking of League of Legends, and I'm going to agree with that completely. There's nothing else I want to add there. League of Legends, and I actually don't have Dota 2 here in the list for whatever reason, so I think they can be roughly lumped into the same territory. Now I'm going to throw them into B tier here. The League of Legends clearly has been around. It's one of the things that has helped make Twitch what it is, League of Legends esports. There's still some of the biggest events. In fact, today, I do believe League of Legends is #1 viewership on Twitch because it was earlier, but there was an event going on there. So it continues to chart into #1 territory. It continues to have pretty high average viewers per channel at 35.4 in the last 7 days. The trend is still going up and up and up. That's a nice growth, but the supply and demand and the barrier to entry, you have to be very high skilled in League of Legends, I think, to enter into the realm nowadays to get some viewership. There's an assumed level of skill that you should already have with this because it's been around for so long.
That totally makes sense. I would say that
Both Dota 2 and League of Legends are going to be both B or C tier games because they have an entrenched community. These are games that people have been covering for a long time, and they will be for a long time. I would say it's probably B tier. I would say B tier because they're such big games that aren't going anywhere anytime soon. But you need to learn how to innovate in these markets to break through, probably through education value.
would be the main way that you could break through with both of these games, not through being some high skill gameplay player. I have advised people that have gone from 0 to really big as creators, as League of Legends creators, 5 years after the game launched. Just by breaking in there, taking a look at the market, looking at the competition, focusing on certain heroes and certain topics on YouTube and what have you, and building an audience, and then driving that over to their Twitch stream and going from 0 to like 500 concurrent viewers overnight. So there is a massive caked in audience here, and you can break through with it. And there was a question in chat I want to very quickly address from Mikol Hones, who says, how is Just Chatting S tier? And yeah, it's pretty awesome. Mikol Hones, it's pretty awesome.
My cojones, I just got that.
Yeah, me too. Very nice. How is Just Chatting S tier? Just to quickly recap, Just Chatting is the biggest category for streaming on all of Twitch by far. And it's trending up, 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 and it's going to crush everything else. It is the #1 trend going up. And it has the most variety, and it is the most unique trend there is on Twitch. So that's why it's S tier. As you can see, Just Chatting, as you can see, the viewership is scaling up infinitely, and so are the channels. It's like the 45-degree angle mega trend. And then the other question was, how is GTA 5 a trend that's still going up? And it's because creators are starting from scratch today on a trend like GTA 5. As you can see, it's at a 45-degree angle mega trend up. And your growth with GTA 5 is directly proportional to your creativity with this game because of mods and because of what you can do with it from a role-playing standpoint and a modding standpoint. If your ideas are good enough as a streamer and as a creator with GTA 5, you can blow up. But it's really your fault, essentially, if you don't grow with GTA 5, because you didn't come up with a creative enough idea. It's like your fault. Like, there's so much meat on the bone to get with GTA 5. If you don't grow with it, it's because you didn't come up with a good enough idea. If your idea is good enough for your stream and your concept's good enough, you'll just take off. Trust me, I've been coaching creators that come up with great ideas and have gone from this year, years after this game came out, this year, 0 to full time off of GTA 5. Okay, that's why. Back to you.
Okay, so we established that. Let's move on very quickly to Rust. Rust did have an uptick in popularity in the past couple of months as many popular streamers hit the RP there for some fun. I'm going to toss it into A tier. I think those once the NoPixel server, the NoPixel RP server on GTA 5 was updated, all of the audience went from Rust to that. So we'll see if there's any room there for people to grow after that kind of like popular dive into all the popular streamers diving into it and coming back out. This doesn't look great. 26.3 average viewers per channel in the last 7 days. Only a maximum of 8,695 live viewers. Once all the popular streamers left Rust, they left it in the dust.
Yeah.
And now everything is going down dramatically in terms of viewership. This looks like almost like D tier to me.
This is D tier. Moving on.
Easy D tier. Yeah.
D tier.
Okay. Let's do it.
I have 7 minutes, and then I have to be with a client on a consulting call. Can we do this in 7 minutes?
We got to do 1 per minute then. Okay, Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Pokemon Sword and Shield is D tier.
Okay.
You have to build a YouTube channel, and it's hard to do that with Pokemon. I advise all of the top Pokemon creators. I currently advise all of them that it's D tier. Moving on.
Okay, Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves is C tier. And because there is some growth opportunity if you're creative with Sea of Thieves and you do some fun stuff with the game, and you can play with your boys and you can create your own fun, that makes it an interesting game. But the total viewership is so small that we can't make a B or A tier because there's not a significant growth opportunity.
Okay, I agree. Player Unknown Battlegrounds.
PUBG is one of these ever trends that's never going to go away. However, it's sort of plateaued and kind of declined in terms of popularity, whereas the mobile version of it has kind of thrived. As you can see, the PC version of it is kind of dying off and plateauing. Little mini spike here recently. Highly saturated though. So I would say that this is yet another C tier game where it requires lots of skill to break through. What are your thoughts?
Yep, I agree with that as well. Okay, Path of Exile recently had some excitement with an expansion pack, but how has it continued afterwards? I've watched most of the major Path of Exile streamers abandon it for other games recently. I want to see what the trend looks like. Very spiky because they've got lots of content releases, but it always kind of dies down afterwards. But the overall trend does kind of increase. This is a weird one. It's probably a C tier because it's got potential, but it's also kind of saturated.
I agree.
Actually, it's not entirely super saturated, actually.
Path of Exile 2 is coming out, right? So I would say that this one has potential for growth. It's definitely not D tier. This one has potential for growth. Path of Exile 2 will obviously reinvigorate the franchise. This is an ancient game. I'd say it's C or B tier right now. Probably.
Actually might be B. I mean, it's not very saturated across the board, so there actually is possibly some room there.
How many live channels right now?
Live channels right now 125. Average viewers per channel 33.
Oh, this is B tier. This is B tier. There's only 125 channels to compete against. This is B tier for sure.
Yeah.
Unsaturated.
B tier.
Unsaturated. Yeah.
Okay, Overwatch. I'm tossing into B. We'll look at it real quick. We gotta move, guys. Let's do it.
Go.
This one I imagine is gonna be D tier. Oh, look at! Oh my God! Look how oversaturated this one is.
D tier.
This is D tier.
This is easy D tier, guys.
Yeah, this sucks, and we know we work for TGN, and we built a million subscribers Overwatch channel. Very familiar with this trend. Overwatch 2, the single player version of the game, will make it spike for a moment, and then it'll go right back down to where it was. I don't think Overwatch 2 is going to reinvigorate this trend in any meaningful way, unless the gameplay there has far more depth than they're indicating from their initial marketing releases.
Okay, I completely agree. The next one is Hearthstone.
Hearthstone's, man, it's this ever trend. Look at the average viewers per channel, 126.
Holy shit!
Whoa, look at the
lot of viewers
on that one.
It's also pretty. I mean, for the most part, until recently, it was very, very unsaturated. In fact, look at in 2017, it was great. It's been getting more saturated over time, though.
Yeah,
If you go and look, it looks like it's actually a slight increase towards the very, very, very end down there where it currently is. Look at that. See, this is
AWOL, call it.
This is A tier.
Yep.
This looks A tier.
It's
That's
A tier.
crazy.
Yep.
I did not expect that one with Hearthstone. I expected D tier. Okay. Genshin Impact. Let's see where that one is. That was hugely popular when it came out. Every big streamer was on top of it. It's a gacha game. It's also on mobile, so it's very accessible. Where is it at now? Relatively unsaturated.
Oh, it's relatively unsaturated, but look at this flat trend. Just kind of died out here. Average viewers per channel is very low. I don't know. I feel like on other platforms, it's better. It's a restreaming title. This is C tier, guys. I mean, if you can restream it on Twitch and Facebook Gaming and YouTube and Trovo and DLive, sure. But just on Twitch, and this is supposed to be a scoring on the Twitch opportunity, it's C tier, guys.
I would agree. Yeah. Okay, Dead by Daylight. This one has...
We got to look at the numbers on this. I actually don't know. I really want to see the data. on this
I was
one.
actually watching some streams of this yesterday. I haven't actually played the game that much myself, but watching the game has been fun. Average of 18.3 viewers per channel in the last 7 days.
Look
really,
at that.
really unsaturated, and it's growing, and it's been growing since its inception. And actually, this is honestly B tier, maybe even A tier, just because Dead by Daylight makes it so high up very commonly on Twitch.
Yeah.
Ranked number 17, 20.
I would say because of the low viewers per channel ratio here, it's not A tier for sure. 18 viewers per channel, I think would make it maybe B tier. Definitely not A tier. If the viewers per channel were like 40 or 50, then this would definitely be an A tier game in terms of the saturation. But there's a lot of channels covering this one versus the viewers. I don't feel comfortable saying it's A tier yet, unless the channels start dropping off. And then we'd be in a supply and demand, a favorable supply and demand situation.
It looks like the supply is starting to exceed demand this year. Since January so far, it's been splitting. Before it was better, so it looks like it's already kind of getting to this more dangerous point in that area. So I would completely agree with B tier. It looks like it fits nicely into B tier.
Perfect.
Last one, the juggernaut trend, gaming trend of all time, Minecraft. Where does it lie right now on Twitch? We know this one's huge on YouTube as always, but where does it go on Twitch? Let's find out. Wow.
S tier.
Yeah, it looks like it's probably S tier. The average viewers per channel is
A tier.
low.
Average viewers per channel is too low for it to be S tier. But this one's A tier. It's on the way up. And most importantly, and a lot of people are like, hold on, I thought this was a games to... I'm sorry, I'm not trying to make fun of you guys. Maybe I am. But you were saying, hold on, I thought this was a games to stream on Twitch video. And this should only be about streaming on Twitch. There is no such thing as just streaming on Twitch. If you're only just streaming on Twitch as your strategy, just quit. Uninstall everything and just stop. So you should be thinking about how you compare other platforms with Twitch for a Twitch streaming strategy, right? So we're analyzing the growth opportunity on Twitch, but also thinking about how can you drive traffic from YouTube primarily over to Twitch or restream from other platforms to Twitch. And Minecraft has a massive resurgence on YouTube in particular, and we're seeing a resurgence on Twitch as well. Your creativity is the limit with this one. Your creativity is the limit. If you can come up with great concepts, great ideas, it's just like GTA 5. If you don't grow with Minecraft on Twitch, that's your fault because you didn't come up with good enough topics, good enough ideas, good enough mods, good enough concepts for your streams. If you do grow on Twitch, it's completely merit-based, similar to GTA 5. Guys, this is the final tier list right here. Guys, I think we did a fantastic job.
Yeah, I think this is pretty good. Real quick, there's a question by Miko saying, so you guys think saturated games aren't good? We're comparing, this list is about what games are good to grow you as a streamer on Twitch. What games are good to stream on Twitch for you to grow, not if they're a good game. So if we put them on a low tier, doesn't mean that they're necessarily a bad game. It just means they're not good for growth on Twitch. I think this list is super solid, guys. Great job.
S tier. Give a recap of the S tier and A tier games roster, that final thought for everybody, and let's get the hell out of here.
Just Chatting and Chess are making the S tier. I can't believe I just said that sentence out loud, but I love it. Grand Theft Auto, Hearthstone, and Minecraft are the A tier. These are the games, or I guess with Just Chatting, the situations you should still be looking at. Also, before we go, we do have a giveaway. I just posted a link in the comments. We're giving away $1,100 worth of awesome studio equipment. All the stuff that you see here, our microphones, our mixers, we're giving it away along with a Restream 3-month license and a TubeBuddy Legends 3-month license, so you can really start taking your streaming product to the next level. Go sign up for that. It's free.